Imagine this. I shelled out $15,000 to gift my sister her dream wedding venue in Maui, only for her to uninvite me so my ex-husband could bring his new girlfriend. But when I showed up anyway, I shattered the entire wedding in under 10 minutes without saying a word. And if you think I'm the villain here, wait until you hear what she said to me first. This revenge was silent, savage, and totally legal. You have to hear how it all unfolded. Trust me, it'll change how you see family forever. Let me back up. My sister Becca and I have always had what I'd call a complicated relationship, which is really just the polite way of saying she spent 32 years figuring out how to get what she wants from whoever's standing closest to her with a wallet. Growing up, I was the older one, the responsible one, the one who got a scholarship, built a career, and then spent the better part of a decade married to a man named Derek, who, on paper, looked like everything. Successful, charming, the kind of guy who picks up the check at dinner so everyone at the table notices. In reality, Derek was the kind of man who keeps score on a spreadsheet you're not allowed to see until he's ready to use it against you. We divorced 2 years ago. It wasn't pretty, but I came out okay. I kept the house we'd bought in Scottsdale, I kept my 401k, and I kept my dignity, which honestly felt like the biggest win of all after 8 years with someone who treated me like a depreciating asset. Derek moved on fast, shockingly fast, to a woman named Kelsey who is 26 years old and posts her breakfast on Instagram every single morning like anyone asked. I was fine with it. I really was. I'd done therapy. I'd done the ugly crying at 2 a.m. phase. I was on the other side of it. Then Becca got engaged to a guy named Troy, and suddenly my carefully rebuilt life got pulled sideways. Troy's great. I actually like Troy. He's a landscaper from Tucson who laughs too loud and cries at dog commercials and would do anything for Becca. She could not have done better. When they got engaged last spring, I was genuinely happy for her. Like real tears at the proposal video, the whole thing. The problem started when Becca came to me with the vision. She wanted Maui. Specifically, she'd found this venue on the North Shore, a garden estate with an ocean view, white pergolas draped in flowers, the kind of place that shows up on wedding blogs and gets saved to Pinterest boards by millions of people who will never actually get married there. She'd priced it out. The venue alone was $15,000. Troy's family didn't have that kind of money. Her future in-laws were lovely people, but they were regular people. And this wedding Becca had designed in her head was not a regular people wedding. So she came to me. Now, I want to be very clear about what happened in that conversation, because Becca has since tried to rewrite history, and I have the texts to prove it. She did not ask me to loan her the money. She did not ask me to help her save up. She straight up said, and I'm quoting from my phone right now, "I was hoping you might want to gift us the venue as your wedding present since you're doing so well and you don't have kids to spend money on." I want you to sit with that sentence for a second. Since you don't have kids to spend money on. That was in there, casually, like a little knife she almost hid in a compliment. But I said yes, because she's my sister, because I'd just gotten a bonus at work and I was feeling generous and optimistic about life, because some part of me still believed that if I showed up for Becca the way I always had, she'd eventually show up for me too. I called the venue coordinator, a wonderful woman named Priya, and I put $15,000 on my credit card. The contract was in my name. I was listed as the responsible party. Becca was listed as the bride. I paid the deposit and set up the payment plan, and Becca cried happy tears and hugged me and said I was the best sister in the world. That was in March. By June, everything had changed. It started with small things. Becca stopped looping me into wedding planning conversations. The group chat she'd made, which had included me, her maid of honor, and 2 bridesmaids, went quiet every time I asked a question. I noticed I wasn't getting details about the rehearsal dinner. I figured maybe she was overwhelmed and let it go. Then I ran into a mutual friend at Target who mentioned very casually that she was excited to see Derek and Kelsey at the wedding. She assumed I already knew. She assumed it was fine. I did not already know. And it was not fine. Not because I still have feelings for Derek, I don't, I promise you, I have done the work, but because nobody had told me. That felt deliberate. That felt like a choice. I texted Becca that night, just asked her directly, "Is Derek coming to your wedding?" She took 4 hours to respond. Then she called me instead of texting back, which is always a bad sign because people call when they don't want a paper trail. She started with the usual Becca preamble, a lot of, "I love you so much," and "You know how important you are to me," and then she said it. Derek offered to cover the entire open bar if we invited him and Kelsey, and I talked to Troy and we just think it might be less drama if you weren't there. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because my brain couldn't process it as real information. "I'm sorry," I said. "You're uninviting me from your wedding?" "We're not uninviting you, it's complicated, and Derek said you've been making things hard for him with the divorce stuff. The divorce was finalized a year ago, Becca. He said you're still angry." "Of course I'm still angry. He's coming to your wedding instead of me." She said, and this is the part I will never forget, she said, "You're kind of proving his point right now." I hung up. I sat on my kitchen floor for probably 45 minutes, just staring at my refrigerator. Then I went and poured myself a very large glass of wine, and I opened my laptop, and I pulled up the venue contract. My name, right there at the top, Sarah Ellen Kowalski, responsible party. I did not blow up her phone, I did not text Derek, I did not post anything on social media. I went to bed. What I did do, starting the very next morning, was think. I called Priya at the venue on a Tuesday, 3 months before the wedding. I introduced myself, the responsible party on the contract, and I told her I needed to make some adjustments to the booking. Priya was professional and kind and confirmed that yes, as the contracted, responsible party, I had full authority to make changes to any of the amenable selections. "Wonderful," I said. "Let's talk about downgrades." The venue package Becca had selected was called the Luxe Garden Experience. It included the estate's premium whitewood pergola ceremony structure, floor-length linen tablecloths, 500 premium garden roses flown in fresh, mahogany Chiavari chairs, a personal bridal suite with champagne service, and an upscale cocktail hour setup on the terrace. I downgraded to the Basic Estate Access package. Basic Estate Access meant the space, just the land. Plastic folding chairs available for rent at $3 each, no florals, no linens, no champagne suite, and the bar situation? The package Becca had booked included a premium open bar setup through the venue's catering partner. I removed it. Under Basic Access, bar service was cash only, and guests had to order from a separate mobile unit that parked in the lot. The difference in price between the Luxe Garden Experience and Basic Estate Access was just over $10,000. Priya processed the changes. She was very pleasant about it. She confirmed the refund would go to the credit card on file, my credit card. Then I booked myself a solo trip to Positano, Italy for the exact same week as the wedding. I got a little hotel with a terrace that looks out over the water. I bought myself a yellow sundress. I made a reservation at a restaurant that has a 3-month wait list. I did not tell Becca a single word of this. I just let the wedding come. I heard from our cousin Jenna what happened, and she texted me a play-by-play because she loves me and also because she has a great sense of justice. The wedding was on a Saturday in September. Guests started arriving at the estate, and I wish I could have seen the faces, because what they found was a gorgeous piece of land on the north shore of Maui with absolutely nothing on it except rows of white plastic folding chairs set up on the grass and a mobile bar truck in the parking lot with a hand-lettered sign that said, "Cash only, exact change appreciated." No flowers, no pergola, no linens, no elegance, nothing. Becca apparently screamed at Priya. Priya very calmly explained that changes had been made by the responsible party on the contract 3 months prior, and that all proper notifications had been sent to the email address on file, which was my email address, because I'd set up the booking. Any emails Becca might have been expecting about the changes had gone to me. I'd set my notifications to archive automatically. Becca called Derek, because of course she did, because Derek had promised the open bar. Derek, I'm told, took one look at the setup, the plastic chairs, the cash bar truck, the complete absence of anything photogenic, and said the aesthetic was not what he'd envisioned, and that his contribution was contingent on the event being a certain caliber. He did not pay for anything. Troy's mom apparently ran to a grocery store and bought some flowers from the display near the exit, the kind wrapped in plastic with a rubber band around them, and tried to arrange them into something. Jenna said it actually kind of worked in a chaotic DIY way. She said Troy cried when he saw Becca come down the aisle, which honestly tells you everything you need to know about Troy. I was in Positano when I got Becca's first voicemail. I was sitting on my terrace eating bread and fresh mozzarella and watching the sun hit the water, and she was screaming into her phone on a lawn in Maui in a dress with no flowers anywhere in sight. She has since left 14 voicemails. She sent a formal letter, an actual letter, in an envelope, threatening to take me to small claims court. I talked to my attorney about it. My attorney laughed for longer than I expected, and then explained that I had made completely legal changes to a contract I was the responsible party on, that I had no obligation to inform anyone of amendments I made to my own contract, and that Becca had no legal standing whatsoever. I sent Becca one text, just one. You said I was too much drama. I figured I'd remove myself from the situation. Congratulations on your marriage. She didn't respond to that one. Troy and Becca are still married. I do genuinely hope it works out for them, for his sake mostly. Derek and Kelsey got exactly one event out of their strategy, and from what I heard, it was a cash bar lawn party, so I hope it was worth blowing up 2 decades of sisterhood over. I got back from Positano with a tan, 1,700 photos, and a completely clear conscience. I've got that yellow sundress hanging in my closet, and I take it out sometimes, just to look at it. Sometimes the best revenge isn't loud. Sometimes it's just knowing your name is on the contract.